I swore I'd never speak about what really happened in that courtroom, but the truth has been eating me alive. Everyone believed her lies, until one moment shattered everything. And I still can't forgive myself. Welcome to Reddit Toxic Family Telltales channel. New episode every day. It was my daughter's 5th birthday when I woke up to her bouncing on my chest, squealing, "Daddy, Daddy, wake up!" Her tiny arms wrapped around my neck, and I couldn't help but smile even though I was still half asleep. She'd been begging me for weeks to join her at her princess tea party. So for one of her birthday gifts I had gone all out. I bought an adult-sized princess dress. When she saw me holding it, her eyes went wide. "What's this, Daddy?" she asked, tugging at the fabric. "Well," I said, trying to keep a straight face, "to go to a princess tea party I've got to be a princess too, right?" Her jaw dropped, then she practically squealed with joy. Before I knew it, she was helping me squeeze into that ridiculous dress, zippers, straps, all of it, her little hands working faster than mine ever could. She was laughing so hard I thought she'd fall over. We brewed some iced tea, sat down at her little table with plastic cups and mismatched dolls, and she kept repeating, "This is the best birthday ever." And honestly, in that moment I believed her. We laughed, we played, and for a while the weight of reality didn't exist. But when the day ended and I tucked her into bed, her small arms clung to me. "Please don't leave, Daddy," she whispered. I kissed her forehead, told her stories until her breathing softened, and then I just sat there in the dark, crying quietly. Because I knew the truth, her mother, my alcoholic wife Rachel, wanted full custody. And she was willing to destroy me to get it. See, Rachel had an ace up her sleeve, her brother Matt. He wasn't just any lawyer, he was the kind of lawyer who never lost. I'd heard about one of his cases before. He defended a woman who had a mountain of problems, no job, a drinking problem, living in a rundown apartment. On paper, she didn't stand a chance. The father looked perfect, steady job, nice home, clean record. Everyone assumed he'd win custody. But then Matt stepped in. He twisted that case inside out. He brought in people to testify about how the mom was turning her life around. He somehow made her addiction sound like a badge of honor, proof she could empathize with her kids and protect them better than anyone else. Against all odds, Matt convinced the court to hand her the children. It was insane and terrifying. Because if he could pull that off for her, what chance did I have? Still, I knew I had to fight for my daughter, Lily. I couldn't let Rachel's lies steal her away. And lies there were plenty. In court, Rachel swore I was the drunk. She claimed I was irresponsible, that I mistreated her, that I was verbally abusive. She even painted this picture of me neglecting Lily, like I couldn't be bothered to take care of my own kid. None of it was true. But Rachel delivered her lines like an actress on stage, complete with fake tears and shaky breaths. And with Matt in her corner, it almost felt believable. He brought in so-called witnesses who claimed they'd seen me drunk, heard me yelling. It was like watching a performance, except this performance could cost me my daughter. Then it was Lily's turn. The judge asked her a few simple questions, and my heart nearly stopped when she opened her mouth to answer. In her little voice she said, "I love my daddy so much. He's the best daddy in the world. He makes me food every day. He reads me stories every night. I want to stay with daddy." The courtroom fell silent. When asked about her mother, Lily hesitated. Then she said, "Mommy loves me too, but she doesn't play dolls with me. She sleeps a lot and sometimes she gets mad and yells. But daddy never yells." Her innocence cut through every lie Rachel had spun. She didn't know about legal battles or custody terms, she just knew what love and care felt like. When Lily came back to sit with me, I hugged her so tight I thought I might never let go. I whispered how proud I was of her. Her words had turned the tide. For the first time in weeks I felt hope. But Rachel wasn't done. Desperation pushed her into darker corners. She showed up in court with fake bruises, claiming I'd hurt her. But the inconsistencies started piling up. That's when my lawyer unleashed the recordings I'd made of our phone calls. The court listened as Rachel slurred her words, shouted nonsense, and even made threats. Then came the photos and videos of her arriving drunk to supervised visits. There she was, stumbling, incoherent, caught on camera for everyone to see. The entire courtroom watched in silence. I turned my head just enough to see Rachel's face drain of color. She tried to interrupt, to claim the recordings were fake, that the photos were staged. But her voice cracked and no one was buying it. And then came the knockout blow. One of Rachel's own friends was called to the stand. She admitted Rachel had a serious drinking problem, that she'd even laughed about manipulating the court and turning my parents against me. That admission landed like a thunderclap. Even Matt, calm, collected Matt, looked rattled. Rachel spiraled. She lashed out, contradicted herself, tripped over her own lies. The judge's face grew darker with every outburst. Finally, he said her behavior showed a pattern of instability and dishonesty that could not be ignored. For me, those words were pure music. My lawyer then shifted the focus to my life with Lily. He showed photos of our camping trips, her school awards, the drawings she made me, even pictures of us reading together on quiet nights. All those little pieces of proof that our life, our bond, was real. The tension was unbearable as the judge called for a recess. I sat in the hallway, palms sweating, staring at a picture Lily had drawn of us holding hands. That's when I felt her tiny hand slip into mine. She looked up at me with those big, innocent eyes and said, "It's going to be okay, Daddy." The same words I'd told her 1,000 times, now she was saying them to me. And for the first time in a long while. I almost believed it. The judge walked back into the courtroom, and instantly the air grew heavy. Everyone stood, then sat as he took his seat. His voice was calm but carried weight as he spoke about how difficult the case had been, the emotions, the accusations, the heartbreak. And then he turned to Rachel and me. After a pause that felt like it lasted an eternity, he said the words I'll never forget. It is clear that the father has demonstrated the best interests of Lily. Custody is awarded to him. The room exploded. Rachel shot up, screaming, her voice cracking with rage. She shouted accusations, denial, anything she could think of. The judge's gavel slammed down again and again, echoing through the chamber as he ordered her to be quiet. My heart was pounding, but not from fear. This time it was relief. I dropped to one knee beside Lily and pulled her into my arms. Tears poured down my face, and for the first time they weren't tears of sorrow, they were tears of joy. She looked up at me, her little hand brushing away my tears. "Daddy," she whispered, "will I still see Mommy?" I swallowed hard, nodded, and told her, "Yes, sweetheart. You can see her whenever you want, as long as I'm there with you." That drive home was quiet. Lily played with her doll in the back seat, humming softly, and I just gripped the steering wheel, trying to process the weight that had just lifted from my shoulders. When we got home, I slipped into the kitchen to start dinner while Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, her doll spread out in front of her. At the table, she looked at me with those big innocent eyes and asked, "Daddy, are we going to be okay?" I smiled, my voice steady for the first time in months. "We're going to be more than okay," I told her. "We're going to be happy." Her smile lit up the whole room. We ate dinner together, laughed, and in that moment I realized we had everything we needed. The weeks that followed weren't simple. I took a leave of absence from work, knowing Lily needed me close while she adjusted to this new life. Our days became filled with long walks, afternoons at the park, and hours of reading her favorite storybooks. We played games, built blanket forts, and slowly, our house started to feel like a home again. One night we were curled up on the couch, a movie flickering on the screen, when Lily's little voice broke the quiet. "Daddy, why doesn't Mommy want to be with us?" My chest tightened. How could I explain something so complicated to someone so small? I pulled her close and said gently, "Sweetheart, Mommy's going through some hard times. She loves you very much, but right now she can't take care of you the way you deserve." Lily nodded slowly, her eyes thoughtful. Then she whispered, "I'm glad I have you." She snuggled tighter against me and I held her as if I'd never let go. I knew the road ahead wouldn't always be smooth. But I also knew we'd face every bump together. Every year on her birthday we carried on our special tradition, the princess tea party. Pink dresses, plastic teacups, and all. It became our thing, our promise to each other that no matter what, we'd celebrate in our own little way. Years passed. One afternoon, Lily burst through the front door after school, her smile so big it practically swallowed her face. "Daddy, look," she yelled, waving a certificate above her head. She had won best reader in her class. My heart swelled with pride. She ran to her room, then came back with the paper held carefully in both hands. Together, we found a frame and I hung it up on the wall for her. She beamed as we stepped back to admire it. And I couldn't help but think back on everything we'd been through, the court battles, the sleepless nights, the tears, the fear. Now, life had settled into a rhythm. Work was demanding, sure, and being a full-time dad wasn't always easy. But every challenge, every sacrifice, it was worth it. Because Lily was thriving. She was making friends, excelling in school, growing into this bright, confident little girl. And standing there, staring at that certificate with her, I knew the truth. We weren't just okay. We were better than okay. We were finally free. Thanks for watching. Today's train wreck is over, but tomorrow's ride is already on track. Subscribe so you don't miss it.